Several years ago, there was this new business going around sponsoring popular science channels called the Bismuth Smith.
This bismuth was sent to us by a guy called the Bismuth Smith.
Quick thanks to the Bismuth Smith for sponsoring this video.
At the time, it looked like a pretty typical creative startup. I mean, I'll admit, I believed in it at first. But over time, the company's founder, Kyle, built on that YouTube exposure to grow a huge following and a very profitable business. But I've been keeping my eye on this business over the past year, and I believe some of the ways this business makes money isn't just a little questionable. In my view, they may even push the limits of what's legal. Some of this is the dumbest business practices I've ever seen a company get away with while still making $1 million a year, including what I see as very misleading advertising, very poor handling of customer complaints, and contests that frankly I just don't believe are really allowed. Some people call him just outright a scammer and claim to have had absolutely horrible experiences with him. Yet somehow, this business still gets highly rated reviews on Google. So we're not just gonna look at the few issues I've kind of mentioned here. We're gonna be going real deep into this guy, okay? And into his psyche and the business, what he makes, how he makes it, that kind of thing. I'm gonna test stuff myself. By the end of this video, I think you'll see why this mismatch is happening, and it's not what you'd expect. Now, if you're not familiar with the Bismuth Smith, it's a business that would create pendants and sculptures out of bismuth. Yeah, those words are kind of confusing. And it's a silvery gray metal. You can just buy it on eBay, but when you allow it to oxidize, it can make some pretty little colors. And so you can make crystals like this at home if you just melt some of this down in a pot on a stove and then pull the crystals out as it's solidifying, and it colors itself essentially. So many people do this at home. While bismuth is about as rare as silver in the Earth's crust, it's remained relatively inexpensive and very cheap to find online due to it having very little industrial use. Yet many sellers have positioned bismuth as a premium, precious-like material, selling it at prices far higher than average market rates by focusing on its rarity and putting it in the same ballpark as, say, gold or silver. And yes, making it into a pretty crystal structure like this does take some effort. That price increase is not justified by that. But Kyle didn't just focus on its rarity to get a higher price. He raised the price through the fucking roof by selling its uniqueness and the hardworking artistic process involved to make one-of-a-kind animal sculptures. And this was done with the lost wax casting method. Not exactly a groundbreaking procedure that I would pay thousands of dollars for, and then he colors them through an undisclosed technique that he seems to claim is an invention of his or something like that. Thanks everyone for the wonderful year since the invention!
So 1 year ago, I invented this product.
This tends to be used as a marketing tactic, the fact it's so unique or beautiful and it's all handcrafted or hand-colored, or at least that's what the business promotes. You're paying mostly for its rarity, despite there being oversupply in the market, and definitely as well for the artistry in creating these pieces. But as I look deeper into this, I believe the truth is rather stretched. There's all this messaging throughout these different websites selling his stuff that kind of spreads the message that Kyle is the most amazing person in the entire world. Kyle Lawson is the only person in the world who knows how to manipulate the liquid metal and oxidation to make it single-colored, then turn it into exquisitely detailed decorative items. Anodization it was patented over 100 years ago now. I don't understand this claim. I don't think Kyle would make this claim himself that he's the only person in the world, but I have seen a lot of other people make this claim for him.
Unique, and it's made by the world's most perfect expert because he developed the process.
And we're saying you or we could do this. No. This is the Bismuth Smith. He is amazing. Check this out, guys.
I think all this praise and specialness is what drives people to spend so much money on this. The problem I find with this is that it just looks like anodization. I don't know if you've ever heard of anodization. Usually you'd use the metal titanium instead of bismuth. You put it into an electrolytic solution. It then oxidizes the metal with a very thin layer, little thin coating on it to diffract the light differently so that it like turns blue. And depending on what voltage or time you put it in for, it changes to different colors. And so you can just put it in like different depths and you get like a rainbow sort of effect on the titanium. I would not be surprised at all if that's just what he's doing with the bismuth. It's super cheap and simple.
We don't exactly know how he's getting these colors. We're gonna let him keep that secret because holy crap, this is amazing. But
I'm gonna do it myself. So I got myself a big piece of bismuth. I've never tried anodizing before. I've never tried to color any kind of metal with electricity, but I think it's easy enough that I can probably just do it in a few minutes and probably on my first try. So let's try that. I only need a few things. A power supply, any kind of electrolyte, a jar with water in it. Let's hook up one piece of bismuth to the water. Actually, I think a Petri dish is easier. If this actually works, that just goes to show how easy this is. So it's at 12 volts right now with the power supply. Let's see what happens when I touch this bismuth with the alligator clip. Let's just touch it for a few seconds.
Oh, I can see it turning different colors. Look at that. I just turned it purple. Look at that.
I just grabbed some toilet paper.
Oh, this is so cool. You just dab it and it changes color.
Just toilet paper and salt water is all you need. Plus a power supply, but that's pretty easy to get. If you want a different color, all you do is you just change the voltage and it gives you a different color. Like, it's that simple. Like, this isn't even pure bismuth. Let's try to make a rainbow just like Kyle does. All I need to do for that is start at, I don't know, a low voltage, dunk the whole thing in. Here you can see it's all just become very yellow. So all I did here was mess around with the time it was in the solution for, slowly brought it out at different voltages. Look at that rainbow color I got there. Pretty good result for a first attempt at making a rainbow piece of bismuth. Clearly, it doesn't really take much effort to make it rainbow. Wouldn't really consider that a huge labor cost. Put it on a motorized arm that just slowly raises it up, and you're probably good. All items are handcrafted and hand-colored with care for your... Hand-colored, I think that's a bit of a stretch. Hand-colored sounds like they've gone in with a little paintbrush and like, I don't think that's how they do it. The whole advertising behind these pieces is often very much just like, this is the only thing in the world that exists like this. But then why can I buy multiple of these? I mean, this right here is enough material to make like 3 or 4 animal sculptures out of bismuth. And this only cost me 30 bucks. So USD, that's probably like 20. Having a profit margin that high has to be criminal, right? The price isn't in the weight of bismuth because you're not getting solid sculptures here. Most of these are just straight up hollow. You're getting a crusty little outline surface of bismuth. But don't worry, because if you spend over $1,000, he'll pay for half of the shipping for an item that can fit in your hand. Now, when you go to his Facebook page, it turns out he does a lot of Facebook live streams because that's the platform he uses to do his auctioning and giveaways on. And he streams multiple times per day. You just scroll down and you just see him sitting in a chair, just, I don't know, he's kind of dirty. He's like pulling hairs off of his shirt and stuff. I don't know why he started live streaming if he's like covered in shit. And then he just titled one that's just saying fuck you. Did he know in advance I'm making this video? Oh, looks like Facebook marked him as spam. Majority of it is just him staring at you. Check it out, what a wonderful Facebook live stream, super engaging. Yeah, I love it. Am I unlucky, or is this just 8 minutes of him just looking around really sick? Does he have hay fever? Bro. But in his live streams, there's little nuggets of information that come here and there. It's rare, but it does happen where some information is either given or shown that give you this picture that what's on his website is misleading advertising or even false advertising, possibly. It looks like he's done this in a homemade paint can. So yeah, he just buys the big slabs of 15 kilos of bismuth. I think that looks like a wax mold right there. Pretty sure those are replicated from a silicone mold.
So we make a silicone mold.
I knew it, a silicone mold. So he's just gonna tell me. Okay, yeah, so he just makes a silicone mold out of those guys and then just pour wax in it. Yeah, there they are, there's his molds. They are all replicas, they're not individually unique. Why does he try to claim that on his website? I'll go shop, is it here? Yeah, do you know what this stuff is? Imagine that each piece is unique and literally the only one on the planet. Sorry, literally. And in this Facebook video, he's like, yeah, by the way, we just make a silicone mold, and this is the clay piece that they made. So yeah, the clay piece is individually made and handcrafted and unique, but then they're replicating that hundreds of times with these silicone molds. So then you're therefore not getting the unique piece, the clay. And you'd say like, oh, maybe they're just like referring to the crystals themselves, like this, crystal violet. These would be individually unique, I guess, because you can't exactly control how it's gonna grow in a big pot when it's like crystallizing out. So that one would probably be unique. Not that I think it really matters because they all kind of look the same. I feel like pointing at bismuth crystals and calling them unique is kind of similar to going to a sunflower field with hundreds and thousands of different sunflower plants, and this one's unique because it has a different leaf pattern. Like, that's their unique selling point here, is that it's got a little bit of a different pattern to it. Like how this one's unique, or wait, was it the other one? Fuck, how am I, oh, damn it, again? How am I supposed to figure out which one is literally the only one on the planet if they all look the same? Yeah, the fact he has this as the background image for this, he's got all of the sculptures he's made. I think it influences the buyers a little bit here to believe that these pieces are all unique. And I'll just check up on his like website or his Facebook every now and then, just once every couple months to see how it's doing. And every single time I look, it's just something different that just hurts. Something that just really hurts you to look at if you're somebody who just has a brain. Oh, what the fuck? On the front page of this guy's site, he says the original company has over 35 million views, spelled with an E before the I, sponsoring science channels. That's right. So he's created a new site to sell bismuth on and removed his Bismuth Smith site. So I don't really know why though. Look, I don't know if that's going to be very effective coming across to people, but basically he's trying to use this exposure he's gotten from Now Red and Grant Thompson, the King of Random, to say like, hey, my stuff is reputable. There's 35 million people that have seen my products. But look, I don't know anyone from the King of Random team. They seem to be nice though, but I've personally worked with and met Now Red in person. He would never promote something like this if he knew it was going to turn out this way in the future. It just wouldn't make any sense. He's like one of the most nicest people I know. I personally believe the Bismuth Smith is just taking advantage of people. And 4 years ago when he was sponsoring science channels, it just wasn't as obvious.
So Aurora Crystal is the development of 7 years of working with a rare metal that nobody's seen on the planet after 35 million views.
Bro, I bought this like 10 years ago. Now, despite his website being taken down, we are lucky here because I started recording this video about a year ago just out of sheer shock of what I was seeing. I can just go through my old recordings and show you what his site used to look like. And I've already shown some of that footage in this video already. I don't even get it. It's, when it says this $100 mystery pendant, I assume I'm paying $100 for the mystery pendant. Or is that just the value of the pendant, but I'm spending $50? And there's so many prices here. There's 47, there's 100, there's 500, there's $50. And then down below, there's $1,000 listed. What is it? So the very first thing we see on this screen, on this video clip of me going through his website, is a guaranteed to win 50 with the $ backwards to $500 with the $ backwards again. But also, I don't think you can do giveaways like this in Canada. I do not think you can do that. There's all these like weird like giveaway additional information. Oh no, that is the additional information. Win this, win that, money everywhere. I don't know what the fuck I'm buying or what I'm actually entering into. There's no like rules listed anywhere or terms and conditions for the giveaway. It's just buy this and maybe receive this. It doesn't tell you anything about it. So I found this page that talks about the Canadian contest and promotion laws, and if you scroll down, you find a section called Equal Dignity, No Purchase Required, Entry Option. That's because you shouldn't have to require to purchase an item in order to enter. You have to have an alternative method where free entries are possible. So it talks about this one case where a contest promoter offered more entry ballots to entrants that paid to enter in a contest to win a car than were offered to no purchase entrants. And they were prosecuted and convicted for violating the criminal code. So the problem in this case is that the people who bought something were offered a bigger chance to win, whereas the Bismuth Smith, I don't see any alternative to enter the giveaway unless you buy something. So he offers no chances to win. Even worse than this case that was prosecuted for violating the criminal code. But a few months later, I checked back in and decided to see what his giveaways are like on his live streams.
Our live streams, we're giving away tickets to a $10,000 prize. All you have to do is be on the streams. You don't have to purchase anything. You don't have anything else, nothing. It is just being on the streams itself.
Okay, so now he's allowing a free option and says you don't have to pay, so that sounds good, right? But then he says this.
Of course, we have a little bonus for purchasers, so anybody who purchases on the live streams, of course. Yeah. So purchasers are getting 2 tickets every time they make a purchase. But just being on the stream, at the end of the stream, we do an emoji, and everybody who has that emoji gets a ticket. On the 15th, we're going to do the big draw. When that draw goes up, we're going to put one name. All of that's going to go to one person.
Does that not sound exactly the same as the example I just read that got prosecuted? Now, generally, when you're doing giveaways or contests, you're supposed to have some rules listed around. So I actually emailed the Bismuth Smith a very simple question, just asking what the rules are, because I can't find them anywhere. And he just responded, it is not a contest to enter. Now keep in mind, just because he says it's not a contest doesn't mean it isn't legally a contest. These giveaways he does is generally done within the auctioning process and sometimes right at the end, after you've sat through him selling all of his items. So this is considered a promotional business activity, meaning what he's giving away isn't really considered gifts with no strings attached. So I'm not entirely sure what to label it, but I'm assuming it's either some kind of a contest, sweepstakes, or a promotional trade trade of some sort. And in the worst case, some people might call this an illegal lottery. Either way though, you really should have rules or something listed somewhere that lets people know what they're actually entering into. So the way he's been doing giveaways lately that I've seen anyway, doesn't involve paid entrant tickets, it's mostly just free entrance, and might be why he said it's not a contest, which is I guess better than the other things I've seen so far. But legally, I still don't think he should be doing this. What he basically does is get everyone to have some kind of emoji react on Facebook Live.
There's 71 people that have reacted to the feed, that's your entry. And then I just copy all the names and we do a draw.
Puts it into randomizer.org to form a randomized list of entrants with numbers associated with their name. Then he goes on Google and finds a random number generator, and whoever that number is associated with is the winner. I do find it funny how randomizer.org literally says do not use this for giveaways, but here we are. Now in Canada, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to do randomized chance giveaways like this. Also, I don't want to forget to mention the actual true value of his giveaways. He always makes it out to be like this huge figure, like win $2,000, $10,000, but it's a bit questionable when the items themselves may already be super inflated. So the value of the giveaways could just be based on however he feels. At least that's what I saw some people saying. Now you may be thinking to yourself, he does give things away pretty frequently, so I mean, he seems like a good guy in that aspect. But if you really think about it, if he's making 10x his profit just from one sale, and he can just easily copy that same product however many times he wants because he has a master mold and he can just copy paste it, then he's not really losing anything to be able to just send like 2 or 3 out to just random customers. And like, this is the whole thing. You can't give things away for free that frequently without there being some kind of catch or some kind of victim involved. In this case, it's the people who are paying crazy prices for one product and then he just copies and ships it out to some other people for free. And I think these giveaways is what leads to him having really good reviews on Google. I think people just aren't that aware of what seems to be happening here. Okay, to this point, it's like, okay, he clearly just does bad business practices, but the further you look into this, it gets so much worse. He's not fucking using gloves. Or eye protection.
I don't wear shit for gloves. It's actually safer without gloves, and the reason for that is the bismuth won't stick to your skin. It beads off and falls.
I know it seems hypocritical for me to be judging someone for not wearing gloves, but I'd like to argue that there's a very big difference between me and him. He's running a business, he's got real employees and staff who is also handling the molten bismuth.
If anybody ever comes across spoons this large, can you let me know? One of my staff members bent every one of them.
To sum up what I'm basically saying here is that I don't really care if he doesn't wear gloves, it's more just about the question of whether or not his employees do. I don't wear gloves myself for my experiments, I can take a bit of risk, but I wouldn't put that risk on someone else. Yeah, of course, I'm gonna have to look after the cameraman and make sure they're safe. But let's just assume maybe he's right about the gloves. What about the eyes? What? That's not just gonna roll off the eyes.
Big chunk of ice and blow my face off.
If I chuck some ice in, it'll blow my face off. Okay, he seems to be familiar with what happens when water gets into bismuth. I mean, you're not gonna accidentally put ice into this molten bismuth, but water can definitely get in there by accident. I mean, this was me last time I played with molten bismuth. I melted some bismuth in a beaker and grabbed a fork that happened to be a bit wet and dipped it in. It causes a steam explosion, and this does happen to people. I also found this tutorial encouraging people to put hot bismuth in water, but this is what happened when someone tried to remelt it. I tried this myself, and burning hot bismuth splashed everywhere. It even got on the roof. But nah, Carl's too cool for that. He's amazing. He's the world's best. He could never get burned or hurt or anything. He's got a big scar here. It looks like another possible scar there. Definitely a scar there. Some discoloration here. This looks like a scar. I think he burns himself a lot. He does have gloves. He just doesn't like wearing them. I don't know if this is even under a fume hood, actually, come to think of it.
Smells like shit in here now, right on.
Of course it smells like shit. You're not venting the fumes properly. Roof is kind of falling apart a bit there. That's his ventilation right there. And he has some windows, I guess, which are closed. This footage I'm going through of his process was recorded in November of 2021. And then in April 2022, there's a video of him saying this.
It went from $200 to we're doing $750,000 this year in a 4-year period.
What's a mining calendar?
You would not expect this guy to be making $750,000 a year from this, but he is. I want to be clear that everything I've shown so far has pretty much been within the past 2 to 3 years. I just don't want people to shift blame onto the science channels for shouting him out, because honestly at the time it looked very different. Now this is the earliest video I could find mentioning the Bismuth Smith from 6 years ago now. That's 2019.
He's also found out how to mold the bismuth with high detail and quality, and he makes a huge array of different shapes and animals.
I mean, it's accurate.
This is just a small sample of some of the ones that I liked. In particular, I really like the blue color that it can have, so just for this video, he's going to be making a limited amount of these, and because they're all handmade, they're all going to be slightly different and unique in their own way.
I don't actually know if they were or weren't unique in this way. I'm trying to figure out if they're the same or different. It's possible these are different. They're kind of sitting differently. Yeah, see the cheek right there, how it juts out, whereas this one, it kind of goes in. I think these ones might actually be a little more handcrafted or unique than what he started doing later. And his website looked very bare bones because he was just starting out, I guess. And I don't see anything in the thousands of dollars either. So it looks like a much more reasonable business back then. This is what I was expecting. I know no respectable science channel would sponsor this guy if his website looked the way it currently does. I don't really see any like big giveaway signs or anything like that, so it's not quite the same. I'm not really sure, but it seems like maybe he was putting a lot of effort into everything at first. Because I mean, I've seen clips where he definitely has the skill to do it, but then maybe just then realize he can just mass produce it using silicone molds and get away with it by not properly disclosing to his customers that that's what's being done now. I mean, that's just a theory I'm thinking about. I don't really know what happened.
Alright, this fucking pot's defective.
So he's sprinkling some white powder onto the surface, which I assume is some kind of reducing agent.
So what I've done is I've added something.
Something?
Turns into carbon. It caramelizes and eventually turns into carbon, but the carbon actually picks out the impurities.
So it's just sugar? Is that what, was that sugar he put on? Because sugar caramelizes and then turns into carbon at those temperatures too. This is just home ingredients, like, it's a lot of fumes as well. So he's melting wax in this pot. So he just melts them on a stove in some hot water. It's so simple to do this stuff at home. Okay, so he's pouring the wax into his silicone molds. Here's his wax. Just none of this looks professional. It looks like I could totally do this at home. Melting the wax.
We usually just load it into an oven and be done with it.
In this video, he's showing like his place, how he does everything. It seems very transparent. It's all good. I like that. It's just his website, man. Is he in control of the marketing? Because, I mean, these pieces are so expensive. Angle wings. Simple. Due to the nature of by hand creation, there may be slight variations in coloring and size. This does not impact the brilliance of the bismuth. See, that statement itself just really ticks me off because it really makes the customer think that each piece is different in a unique way because, oh, there might be slight variations in coloring and size. He just showed us that he's using silicone molds. Due to bismuth's crystal structure, the sculptures can be fragile and should be handled with care. What he doesn't like to show in these images is the underneath of this bird where it's actually hollow and it's gonna crumble in on itself if you hold it too tightly. That's not due to bismuth's crystal structure. You're just giving super thin pieces. So I just remembered that on his YouTube channel, the videos are all deleted now, but he used to have a video on there that showed his creative process. I just went through my old folders. I found out that I actually downloaded his full video. Let's have a look at that and how he presents himself through that. Here it is. So he makes a clay mold. I mean, this is the artistry, right? This is what you should be paying for. I think that's fair. Like, there's real work going into this. It's not all just effortless. Plaster and sand is used to make a mold that can withstand the heat of the molten bismuth. Puts the wax mold in once it's all mixed together, melts out the wax. He says this is called the lost wax process. But, it's a little sneaky here, isn't it? Because in this video, he's showing himself melting away the clay model that he just put all of his effort into. Is it clay or is it wax? Like, looking at it, it looks like clay, but he calls it wax and cornstarch. Either way, whatever you call it, the video makes it look like he just spent all this time crafting this thing, didn't show any silicone molds or replicas. It looks like he just destroyed the original piece that he spent hours putting together. So maybe that's why he ended up deleting the video, but looking at the dates, it seems that his creative process video was up for at least a few years after he showed those silicone molds being used. So, like, I don't know if his process just changed over time and he just continued saying they're all individually unique for an extra 3 years, or if he's just trying to give a false impression that he puts in a lot of effort for each item. I'm not really sure. While he now says he makes over $1 million a year.
We generally do about 3,500 a day, so I'm gonna push it to about $4,000 and then.
Bro, how much is that a year? When people say that he boasts about earning millions of dollars, but still complains about being broke, I mean, they're right.
We have an agreement that you guys clear the invoice within 24 hours so it doesn't delay service for other people. Every one of these are broken agreements. Everybody needs to understand that. How am I going to hold the agreements on this end if we don't have the funds to make it for everybody else? If we have unpaid stuff, this holds our ability to be able to make agreements with the clients, so it's fucking up the whole business. We're giving away tickets to a $10,000 prize. We generally do about 3,500 a day, so I'm going to push it to about $4,000.
You really should wear gloves when you're pouring into a mold that could still have some water moisture in it. Moisture can heat up and explode, and then he pours off the insides, and so now you're left with like a hollow piece. And then he starts chiseling away. I mean, there's a bit of work to it. Okay, now we get to the coloring stage, which I think is a little bit iffy. He's heating up with a blowtorch. There's multiple different ways you can oxidize the surface of bismuth. I really doubt he does this for every single piece. So those pieces where he has just a very solid colored piece, I don't think they could have been made by just heat alone by a blowtorch. Sorry, this is great. I went through his old Facebook posts from years before. And he's got these images of the exact same piece of bismuth. You'll notice the pattern is the exact same each time. It's changing color, so he's able to control the color. He can turn it silver by just putting in some acid, I assume, and then change it another color. But in every single photo, you see he's wearing these white gloves that are wet. Now, the only reason I can see why you would have a wet glove when holding colored bismuth is because you've just dunked it into a wet chemical solution. So, you know, at least he wears gloves sometimes. And this was posted to Facebook a couple years before his creative process video came out, where he uses just a blowtorch. I think he's just showing this to show like, oh, it's handcrafted and there's a lot of work put into it. Like the degree of control here, like notice how the lines there are just so distinct, and you can see the way that it's not actually colored underneath there, so that further makes me believe that these are just anodized electrochemically, kind of like a lightning strike. It's gonna hit the highest points first, whereas on the heat treated one, it's all a lot more blended. There's not like a solid line, boundary line of like, this is where it was hot and this is where it was cold, so it's more of a gradient of a temperature change. Yeah, like this piece too. I mean, come on. Here in 194 weeks ago, so that's like 4 years ago. He says, just gave away a $5,000 Aztec calendar on the Bismuth Smith's Facebook page. Congrats, this person. What's the chance he just looked up Aztec calendar on Google, found this 3D print that he can just buy for 12 bucks? Ridiculous Mayan calendar made of pure bismuth, only by the Bismuth Smith. So searched around Google for around 20 minutes, just looking for a model that looks the exact same. His has little dots on the outside edge, this doesn't. So it wasn't this one. Most of these don't have dots. And then I came across this. I would have found it satisfying to find the exact model he used, but... hold on. This one's interesting. Got the dotted edges. Hey, I think I found it. Oh, no fucking way. How many teeth? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The earrings look the same. There's gonna be some differences by just how well his casting was. Is it actually free? I wonder if there's any like copyright issues with downloading this and selling it. Published 10 years ago, fits the timeline because he made it at least 5 years ago. This model is free. Licensing information, CC attribution, author must be credited. Commercial use is allowed if the author is credited. Did he credit them? Only by the Bismuth Smith. Yeah, when you look up Bismuth Smith on Google, one of the first images that comes up is this Mayan calendar. Hold on, what's this? How many did he make? $3,000? It looks the exact same as the last one. For sale is the giant bismuth Aztec calendar made by the Bismuth Smith. These are extremely rare, with likely less than 10 to 20 ever being made. They are so rare due to a combination of the difficulty it was for Kyle, the Bismuth Smith, to make them, as well as their size/weight. Where are you getting that information from? This Aztec calendar is 29 centimeters in diameter, 9 pounds, 4 kilos. I honestly don't believe that this takes any more effort to produce than any of his other pieces. The only difference is that this is a lot more bismuth. It's just big. So it makes sense to have a higher price for it than what you'd normally get, but almost 5,000 Australian dollars is ridiculous. Let me compare to this downloadable file for free. Now, there will probably be some perspective change. Bro! You are caught. That is sad. So let's go 100%. If you aren't convinced because of the blurriness of it, let's get another photo. Okay, and now let's Let's go on the Sketchfab model. Let's try to recreate that shot. I don't know, we'll see what this looks like. Ooh, not looking too good for him. I see some differences. Like, if you look at the beads down here, they're not really beads anymore, but it's kind of like, it looks kind of messily distorted. After going from silicone to wax to plaster, it's kind of lost some detail, but you can kind of see that they're there though, right? Now let's see what happens if I look up Aztec silver Aztec calendar figurine, $800. Jesus, it's got like its own pedestal and everything, like a stone tablet. Unique piece by D. Argenta. The width is 12 inches, which is basically the exact same size as the Bismuth one, but it's $800 USD. Gold Aztec calendar stone replica. So they have an $800 cast in 24 karat gold and designed with intricate details that mimic the Aztec calendar. So what they're saying is, this isn't the Aztec calendar. They didn't just download a file and slap it into a 3D printer and use that and cast it and then put gold on it. So these guys are also claiming this is a unique piece that they specifically made. Yeah, if I put the two lions' faces together, you can see they're a bit different. And the face as well is a little bit different on this one and this one. So it does seem that they are being honest. It has like this weird cutout in this one, whereas these guys, they've like smoothed it flat. So they have made some creative decisions to differentiate themselves from the real Aztec calendar, but they're only charging $800, like that's pretty reasonable. You can see they've put in the actual craftsmanship and effort into this. Whereas the one from the Bismuth Smith, yeah, the Bismuth Smith one, you can see it has this ridge cutout, just like the 3D model. I don't see any creativity taken here, but he convinces his customers that he gives it away for free that it's like worth this much. Especially if the back of it looks like that as well. It just looks like this gross blob of mess. I don't know. Maybe some people like it. I feel like in a live stream, he'd show the back of it and be like, this floor, it's a feature. Maybe I can't complain about this because he just kind of gave it away as free for whatever reason. But it's just, I don't know. There's just something about calling everything like, oh, $5,000 giveaway, $1,000 giveaway. It just feels kind of wrong. This extra price gets these customers into thinking that he spent a lot of effort and work into making these things. Your work just keeps getting more incredible. You've barely even tapped the vastness of your talents and creativity. Your potentials are endless. What's his cost actually like? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's buying the most purest bismuth possible. It's super expensive.
There's a quarter of a kilo here in metal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm holding a quarter of a kilo and it's about the same size as his, so I'd say he's accurate there. I honestly think his Facebook live streams, he prices things pretty reasonably. It's just on his website that everything's super outlandish.
So we're all on the same page here. $65 a kilo at cost. Just in metal is $21. That went for 10.
Why did he divide by 3? Did he think a quarter makes a third? Yeah, I mean, it's good to be transparent, but if you can't even calculate, I mean, you said it was a quarter of a kilo. That's $16. So let's just assume this piece is valued based on weight. Now the listing was 4.31 kilos. So let's do $65 times 4.31. And it would have costed him about $280 of bismuth to make the Aztec calendar. He's really good with charity. He's such a charitable person to give away $5,000 worth of product. It's definitely worth less than $1,000. I can guarantee that. $5,000 divided by 280, he gave a price increase of 17 times more than what it's actually worth in weight.
You guys have become a very hesitant, reluctant group. And even the raw metal is worth more than you guys are bidding. Sorry for the changes, guys.
He gets so butthurt all the time. I don't understand it. Man, you guys are taking me for granted.
$65 a kilo at cost.
I kind of disagree with that. He's getting ripped off. Here we go. This is a bismuth ingot. $730 for the lot. $730 divided by 15 kilos is $48 AUD. It's $43 Canadian per kilo. So he's either getting a higher purity from some supply, or he's just being ripped off, or he's lying. Who knows?
It went for $10 after the work was done, after it was coated, after the image was selected, designed, and printed.
After the image was selected. He's shown in previous live streams that he uses AI. I've always excited to come on and see the amazing artwork that your staff comes up with. I think you mean the artwork that AI comes up with. So it seems like not everyone is familiar with the fact that he uses AI. Now, I've watched one of his live streams. This is from 17th of February. In some of his live streams, he goes through AI art.
And then I am rolling into the AI for all the stuff that was requested. Here's one of the coolest, badass dragons I could ever possibly produce. Because I'm pretty fucking good at running prompts.
He's using something called ideogram. I've never seen that before. What is that? Hey, let's see. I don't really want to sign up to that.
Hey everyone, in this video I wanted to talk about Ideogram's new feature, batch generation. So this is for people who want to create lots and lots and lots of AI designs. Batch create tons of AI designs. I got a chance to play with it, so I'm going to show you how it works and why this is so cool.
It's literally just a replacement of artists. That's kind of sad.
I have a problem with this one. He is trouble. You can't do that, dude. Even if you're a kid, you can't do that.
That's actually a funny little thing.
And there's the native.
Man, so basically what he's doing is he's asking his audience to give him generation ideas. Like, oh, what do you want to buy? I'll generate it with AI, and then I'll put it on a pendant, and you can buy the pendant. Oh, so here's the AI generated images he has, and then that's the result on the Bismuth, it seems. Why does it have like a ball sack underneath its head? Here, at least it's transparent what he's doing. The only problem I have with it is I don't know if he's using this AI for all of his products now, or if this is just a little gimmick he was doing for a bit. It's kind of hard to tell. I can't put my trust in this person because he keeps saying like, oh, this is unique, everything's unique, and then it's not actually unique. I don't know, man. At Aurora Crystal, every piece is handcrafted and entirely... Every piece is handcrafted and entirely unique. There's only one just like you. How are they doing this again with their new site?
That being said, one thing I'm really liking though is the product consistency. Each one of these is the same as the next upon request. We are getting very consistent results, so that each product that is sold is consecutively the same as the next, which is perfect, because that means that people are going to be happy with the quality. They know what to expect.
There's only one just like you. Oh, there's only one? It seems like there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of this specific one. I mean, it has a number for it. I think they've just kind of copy pasted what they said on their last site. It's hard to know what is AI though. Man, this tells you everything you need to know about this website. There's an Aurora. There's 2 AI generated humans looking at the Aurora. They do not have contact details, so if you want to have a dispute or something, or contact a lawyer or something about a problem you've had with them, you can't. It looks like he's gone to just selling these laser-etched bismuth shapes. At least I think they're laser-etched. I don't know what else it would be. But yeah, I mean, just look at this one. It looks weird to me. I mean, the backgrounds that they're on are all AI generated. This is not a real photo, of course. The design itself might be a real photo that he's just kind of stuck on with Photoshop. But yeah, it's a nice little design. It's just looking at the paw here. You've got this wolf's paw, that's one. And then you got this paw that's kind of like curving upwards a bit. I don't know, it's a bit distorted like that. But then you've got this third paw. I don't know, what wolf does this paw belong to? It's kind of just an elbow with 2 paws on each end. It's just like a third limb just kind of sitting there. AI aside, $41. I mean, it's honestly not a bad price. I would say that's a normal price. So he's gotten better with the pricing. That was my main issue, the reason why I made this video. Everything's more consistently priced. You don't have a random item worth over $1,000 and then another item with the same weight of bismuth worth like $100. It made no sense on his last website. So this is a lot better in my opinion. I don't love the AI images in the background. I mean, what is this photo? It makes it look like it's gigantic. It's around 2 inches. There's like this tiny little thing on this completely irrelevant picture. It looks like there is effort put into making these. It's just, yeah, there is AI somewhere in the process. I tried exploring the rest of his site, but half of it just wasn't working. So, oh, this button doesn't, oh, I can't visit shop either. Can't click this button either. So how do I get a custom pendant then? It feels like this site was probably built by AI and he didn't really bother to go in and fix it afterwards. Start design. Let's see. Upload your photo, describe what you want made. Yeah, I can like request an AI image. There's like 4 different layers of AI at this point, so it really brings into question the whole handcrafted aspect. Look, I wanted to figure out how this guy sees money, why he does what he does. In this post, he talks about how he just broke $1 million in sales. Now he wants to make $1 million in just 3 months. Then his next post is direct instructions for obtaining riches. and then another instruction booklet for how to become successful. What if I told you that you're limitless? Most people who read this won't believe me. Okay, this is the Bismuth Smith's direct instructions for obtaining riches. You wanna see his opinion on how to make money? The secret to getting rich is to stop making money. Money has no value. Okay, thanks. I don't think I need to read all of this, but generally he just says be positive, don't let negativity get to you, that kind of stuff. Use every failure to your advantage as a lesson to open a door to a large opportunity. Like, he says very obvious things while also saying some dumb things at the same time. It's very all over the place. Keep the value of your service much higher than you're receiving for it. I don't know if I can really say he follows that. I don't know why he gives this idea that you can just earn nothing and just freely give, but also build your business and create value. That doesn't make any sense. Be grateful for everything positive, allowing nothing negative to affect you, including your own thoughts. Dude, this guy does not follow his own advice. In his live streams, he also sometimes brings up the idea of making video courses to make people successful. And this is when he starts talking about why he makes things so expensive.
I am going to figure out a platform I can start posting videos on for the educational stuff. And the educational stuff is going to be paid for, just because, honestly, if it doesn't cost you anything and there's no cortisol, you're never going to go through all the videos to get the dopamine. But if I charge you $400 for a round of courses and it stresses you out to pay for that, you're going to go through all of it to get all the fucking dopamine you can. And then they're actually of use. Does that make sense? And actually, the higher a price I charge for them, the more somebody's going to pay attention when they actually make the purchase. It's what I'm teaching you guys is the core of everything.
He's talking about overcharging to the point where it stresses the consumer out just so that the information becomes useful, because it kind of traps them into getting their money's worth.
And it's like, we split up just before my mom died and fucking things just hadn't been functional.
Okay. Imagine clicking on this as a giveaway and he starts talking about his mum's death. Don't know what to make of that.
And I'm going to be training everything I know. The list is like 400 subjects deep, but anybody who goes through a digital course that runs through all of that is going to be a goddamn expert. If anybody takes that course seriously, they're going to be a fucking expert in their ability to influence and in their ability to function and like...
I mean, you get the vibe that this guy thinks he's the greatest expert in the entire world. This is very typical money-making guru behavior. But I don't know, maybe he is an expert. So let's watch one of his live streams where he gives a free little lesson.
We're going to call this the line of expectations.
Oh my god, he's talking about dopamine again. He talked about dopamine and cortisol. Is this him gonna explain why he's overcharging things again?
Okay. The brain. There's this like magic line that we cannot see. This line can move up towards dopamine, but if you do not receive the expected dopamine, then your cortisol level rises.
I'm weirdly getting reminded of someone else who uses MS Paint.
If you do not have expectations of dopamine, your cortisol levels remain here, and then when you do get dopamine, the distance is very far, so the dopamine's bigger.
Oh my god.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Oh my god.
So, we have this magic line.
Dude's got to turn off his notice.
And this line can fluctuate.
Dude, what axis?
Kind of a weird perceived angle.
What axis is this?
And we need it to move up and down. So every time I put a rigid system in, we get a straight line for dopamine, and this is what's caused us to have fluctuations in the number of people here. Outbursts in some people. We've had clients that would purchase a lot not purchasing.
Hearing him talk about this stuff makes it sound like he just sees us as brainless monkeys functioning off of just hormones, and he's trying to be like the mastermind of it all, who understands how everything works psychologically based on just dopamine and cortisol.
You guys want deals? You want to be able to win big, and you like surprise wins. But could you guys imagine a system with all three? What if it becomes addictive? The thing is that we have to have what you would call a cognitive overload for dopamine, where your brain can't track patterns. Then it becomes an expectation. Those expectations become problematic, and we have an issue.
It sounds like he's saying, I gotta make this stream so psychologically addictive that people don't even realize they're wasting their money. They'll just spend all their money in a frenzy. I don't know how to feel about that. To start, here's one of Kyle's public approaches when dealing with complaints.
Poor Kyle, getting tired having so many people screenshotting and jumping on his lives to tell him everything is so much a sneeze. No wonder there are no sales. You have no fucking clue what's going on. So you're sitting here talking, saying all this kind of stuff, and you're clueless.
I'm sure that everybody that's in this community doesn't appreciate being told that they're a bunch of children. I am doing giveaways, and I'm going to continue doing this, and if it pisses you off, that's your fucking problem, not mine.
sorry. And it's actually best to angry react, apparently. So if everybody wants to angry react because I'm a piece of shit who's doing giveaways.
That comment didn't mention giveaways at all, by the way. For context of what's going on here, I think Kyle victimizes himself so much.
Blame him. It's all his fault. Burn him at the stake.
That it encourages his own customers to then make, like, pity posts for him, I guess.
So I'm at my wit's end.
The commenter is actually standing up for Kyle. It starts with saying poor Kyle and talks about how customers aren't being nice to him. I don't know what kind of mental gymnastics he went through to turn sympathy about a topic that he's been complaining about into just a straight up attack. Just to really show you why I find this absolutely ridiculous and that Kyle really does just victimize himself over and over again, acting like the business is on the brink of collapse. Here's a random clip I came across today.
No news on Canada Post. That's something you send through Messenger because I don't want to have a huge conversation about it. We've asked that like 30 times on the stream not to address it.
And every time it gets addressed on here, if it stresses people, it fucks up the whole company. So again, I'm going to ask that not to be addressed on the stream. Don't understand why it's got to come on the stream every fucking day. And I'm fucking dealing with it. And then we might be totally crippled. So I'm going to ask again, if there's anything with Canada Post, use Google. Please don't bring it on the streams. Please just leave it off the streams. It stresses the fuck out of me because all it takes like that, 1 second and everybody stops buying because they're stressed out and this company's closed, everybody's fucked. The end. Over.
So what seems to be happening here is that somebody in the comments mentioned Canada Post. He goes on to ramble about unionization and going on strike and stuff like that. So it seems Canada Post had some issues back then.
The fucking employees don't want to be on strike. I know this. Every time they go on strike, they don't get paid during the strike.
So even though it was months later, getting like a sympathetic comment like that saying it's sad to see all these people misbehaving in his live streams, just for Kyle to then have a big go at them and get everyone to angry react with them, like it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I'm not mad. I'm just being very direct.
What do you mean I'm not mad? He just
This fucking scare bullshit, it angers the fuck out of me.
Moments like that where he responds mockingly to viewers is quite common in my experience when watching his live streams.
Kyle rips people off. He's a horrible person. Kyle, you're such a piece of shit. You rip everybody off by selling fucking metal. Because you're a piece of shit and now it's not worth anything. He's a fucking scam artist. I was ripped off for thousands of dollars. I bought products on an auction and they're not worth anything because I can't sell stuff and I never learned how because the guy taught me how to do stuff but I never picked up the courses.
This is me right now listening to him. What the fuck?
This guy's a fucking piece of shit. He's not even taking us seriously. He's mocking us.
Who is he talking to?
His business is going under because he had so many clients. He had to slow down.
For another example, here's how he responded to a customer who appears to have just wanted a refund.
You just want to talk about reactive?
You can see the person's name down here. I mean, way to call someone out over the internet. Like, this is a customer, though. It's a bit...
Because your item that you got was $2 difference. That was a gift. And I called you on your shit for it and raised your cortisol levels, so you reacted.
I raised your cortisol levels. I've never heard anyone call out someone for their cortisol levels.
It was a fucking gift. It was $25 it cost us. If it's $2, like, what are you so upset about? And then when I addressed it, they filed claim for $800 in product. So it's like, now I gotta go figure out exactly where the parcel is and if it's departed yet. And if it has departed, then we're gonna pull the tracking number. And it's just a waste of fucking resources. And then when people get so expectant over giveaways, it's like, again, we're gonna go back to the analogy of the child having a fit over candy. You're getting dopamine when you win stuff. After a while, it becomes expectations.
Almost every live stream, he's venting about something and trying to get his followers or his live viewers against this person to like validate himself in a way for being upset. I don't know, it feels very weird.
People are disgusting. They make me fucking sick sometimes. People's greed is just unreal. These are the people that put a face on live streams. Oh, I'm not here just for giveaways. I'm not here for just this, and this. Put these fucking faces on. Stab me in the back as soon as there's a fucking problem. It's like, whoa.
He just fucking stabbed me. It is interesting hearing him talk about greed. And then later on 9th of July, another live stream pops up, but it's someone else saying Kyle quit. So I guess he got upset. Feels like a YouTuber trying to make thumbnails.
Wait, so that way I don't have to give away stuff to people that are fucking nasty to it.
But it's just a vent stream. I think this guy genuinely just needs therapy. I don't know what else to say. So I gotta interrupt here. Google's reviews might be nice on this guy, but oh my gosh, people on Facebook are so much more critical of this guy. So I found the person who reached out to him and seemed to be saying, poor Kyle. It seems like they had a change of heart after this moment. They said, so a bit of a math problem, a bit of ignorance, and some would say an outright scam. A person starts a company and was making money hand over fist, but wants to change the basic business plan every other day. Next, the product changed in an attempt to make more money with less product, and prices were different 3 times in every feed. Then it was noticed the tiny product became even smaller and the selling price was bouncing all over. Who do you know who buys a piece of jewelry every single day? Anyone who wants to continue to partake in shows like this, don't answer, because someone has nothing better to do than screenshot my posts and circulate them. Would love a bit of input. And people angry reacted to her. 50 comments though, that's a lot. People are pissed off though. I was the first to be blocked and banned. I keep quiet until I hear him berating his own potential customers. So annoying. A lot of these people here are calling the Bismuth Smith a scammer, a cult leader, really serious things. No organization, false promises, changing prices, unfulfilled orders, confusion, lost money, pressure tactics, etc. I'm not a reseller, but I definitely feel taken advantage of and manipulated. Stopped watching/buying a long time ago, and that move has vastly improved my mental health. I feel sorry for the new batch of people who are going to get sucked in. Holy. As more speak up, maybe the cult will be dismantled. I will continue to make sure people are heard. This is rough. I thought people were completely blind to this, but no, it's just, I'm only looking at the people who are commenting and like engaging in his live streams. It seems that anyone who has a brain is not actually engaging with this content. I admit I was taken. I swallowed the hook, line, and sinker. When I started, I specifically told him in a call that I was investing as a way to raise money for a kidney transplant from Mike. He showed me that I'd be the one of his exclusive distributors and be able to raise the money I needed for Mike. In just over 1 year, 32,000 wasted, multiple broken promises by Kyle.
I'm just gonna say verdict, red flag. I'm terrified to know where this one's going to end up.
1, an exclusive dealership. His exclusive dick dealer? Okay. He said he'd sell my pendants for $50 to $60 each. Instead, he dumped them in wholesale lots. Oh, and completely undercut my pricing that he insisted I raise because I was undervaluing myself and my handcrafted works of art. His words. He did the blowout on my pendants because they look 100 times better than any of the pendants he was producing and selling at that time. That and my pendants are truly handcrafted, one-of-a-kind pieces, unlike his mass-manufactured shit. Around the same time, it all came out from that Billy/William kid that Kyle had been lying and deceiving everyone. Dude, this goes deeper than I can cover in this video, I'm sorry. This is way deeper than I thought. It was also around that time when Kyle told me himself that he bought Paul's products, oxidized them, and sold them as his own creations. Holy shit. Like this whole time, I thought I was the only person really looking at this guy and seeing what he's doing. I'm like, how is no one else catching on to this? But no, it's just the people who are engaging with him obviously aren't gonna be the people who have huge problems with him. Wow, it's worse than I thought, actually. That's actually really sad. I never got my Eagle, nor my Aztec. Some would call that a scam. It has been 2 years. What is a reasonable amount of time? I also talk about the Aztec. This is bad. This is literally validating everything I wanted to talk about in this video.
Kyle, thank you so much for being the encouraging, inspirational guy that you are.
1 second and everybody stops buying because they're stressed out, and this company's closed, everybody's fucked. The end. Over.
Kyle doesn't believe in anything negative.
This is a whole 10-minute video.
He does not believe in negative.
So if everybody wants to angry react because I'm a piece of shit who's doing giveaways,
it angers the fuck out of me because all they do is scare people so that it fucks up the economy so they can justify inflation and take money from everybody.
Is definitely one way to be successful.
Kyle is very inspirational.
Alright, this is fucking pause a sec.
Amazing, and he puts so much time and effort.
This is my first piece of Bismuth from the Bismuth Smith. And since then, I've been getting more and more and more unique pieces from him.
So we make a silicone mold.
I just don't think it's that special. I think this is something that someone could do just like on a weekend.
This company literally started with $200.
Sounds like, just puts in perspective how easy it is to start a company like this.
I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. To be able to create something that can get mailed to your door, that puts a smile on somebody's face, that brightens somebody's day.
So if everybody wants to angry react because I'm a piece of shit who's doing giveaways.
And we are the Bismuth Smith team.
That was an interesting watch though. Okay, just an update. He recently mentioned he's getting audited.
We have a secondary audit occurring with Revenue Canada for our R&D stuff. But until the R&D money clears and whatever the government owes us, because they owe us like 350 grand.
He thinks the government owes him money. That's why he's not stressed. And then he shows this page that's supposed to be sent to the auditor or something like that. It looks like it's just a diary of things they've tried. I mean, it mentions here about TSP, that's a chemical. It talks about bicarbonates, sodium percarbonates added to the solutions. The spelling here does look a lot better, but I think he means sodium percarbonate. And it's not project, it's project. Is this seriously going to be a government document? It mentions all this chemistry stuff. So it looks like there is real work being done, but I guess like a year ago it was a lot worse. Now it might be a bit more professional. But here it says 3D printing. I don't really know what the whole sentence is saying. Magnesium, zinc, fuming, tin, gold, development of a new metal material. So it sounds like they're working with alloys now. I think Kyle is probably really good and maybe doing the research and science behind it and the artistic side, but when it comes to the business side, I don't think he should touch the business side or the marketing side or doing any of these live streams that he's doing. I think he should really just focus on the science and the creating the actual pieces themselves, making them better. But yeah, I just don't really know what the future holds for this business. It looks like it might be moving in a better direction. Like the product looks good. The pricing looks good. I just hope the art at the moment isn't AI generated. It is a little concerning though when you look up the Bismuth Smith on Canada's business registries. Dissolution pending due to non-compliance. Status of annual filings overdue for 2024 and 2025. I think that's your tax return, so I don't know if he just didn't return his tax or what's going on with that. That's kind of weird. 2 consecutive annual filings are overdue. Corporations Canada has sent a notice of its intent to dissolve the corporation. If the corporation does not file its annual filings immediately, the corporation would be subject to an administrative dissolution. So I don't know why he's so confident that the government's gonna give him $350,000 after this audit. I don't know. He seems confident though. I know this isn't the type of video I'd normally make, but considering he was first discovered years ago through the science community on a large scale, I figured I might as well talk about it. There's not going to be more videos like this though in the future, I don't think, from me. I just like doing deep dives every now and then, I guess. I know it wasn't the most positive thing to deep dive into, but I felt like it was important, or at least interesting. So anyway, thank you to my Patreon supporters for making this video possible. Probably not what you expected, but thank you for supporting me. But that's why this video isn't really edited to the highest standard for myself, so that I can get this out there and then move on to more science and chemistry projects that I do myself. Thanks for watching. See ya.